Shuckalaka kapow. How's it going, old schoolers? You're kicking it old school with Russell JS, and I am your host, Russell JS, bringing you another album versus album, track by track. And this is unlike one that I've never done before, because here's the thing. The two the two albums that I'm about to go ahead and showcase in this album versus album, at the time of the 1960s, the 60s began with the assassination of President Kennedy, the civil rights movement, let's see, and, all kinds of turmoil went on in the 60s, along with the Vietnam War going on and protesters and American rock and roll bands following in the footsteps of the British invasion led by the Beatles. And of course, the birth of the Ford Mustang and the Chevy Camaro and the Pontiac Firebird, Woodstock, Charles Manson. I mean, the 60s were a crazy time. I mean, they were a crazy time for rock music that was coming out of New York City, San Francisco, some from Texas, mainly from LA. I mean, there was a great rock and roll scene going that was following in the footsteps of the Beatles. Now, the two bands I'm going to showcase is their debut albums. Now, here's the thing. No matter who wins or loses this round, it's luck of the draw. I mean, you're going to know who I'm talking about when I do this battle. One band consisted of a trio of musicians a quartet of musicians of band members whose front that guitar, drums, and keyboard and bass on a bass key organ, whose front man was a dark poet. He brought rock and roll into the dark side. The other band consisted of their leader being half African American, half Native American. I think he was Cherokee and he was colorblind, and left-handed guitar player. I mean, sometimes he would literally flip a guitar upside down and play it that way, or he would string it. He would flip it upside down and restring it to where he could play it regular. And he was a musical genius and innovator. I mean, artists raging from Jimmy Page to Tony Iommi to Eddie Van Halen to Slash have all cited him as a major influence in their music. I'm talking about The Doors versus Jimi Hendrix Experience, Are You Experienced? Now, both these albums to me, I mean, like I said, they were both innovative. I mean, they brought rock music to the dark side for what, rock music is going to be like in generations to come. And we're going to do a battle royale of these two great albums. And I also remind you, if you're new to the channel, please hit a like, subscribe, leave comments down in the box down below, and ring the bell for notifications for future videos. And if the Doors should win this against Jimi Hendrix, do not accuse me of being a racist. I will not accept racist accusations. I will delete the comment. And, I am not a racist. I mean, would I be listening to Jimi Hendrix if I were racist? No, I would not. Among a lot of musicians and artists from the past that were black, I mean, heck, if I'm a racist, I might as well not listen to rock and roll, period, because when you think about it, rock and roll birthed not only from, rockabilly, country, and, country music and Western, but it was also birthed by gospel, jazz, and blues, which blues and jazz is predominantly black music. Okay, I mean, the likes of Benny Goodwin, Cab Calloway, B.B. King. So if I'm a racist, then I shouldn't be listening to rock and roll. But without any further ado, let's see how these bad Oscars rate out, shall we? Okay, in the case of the Doors' self-titled debut versus Jimi Hendrix Are You Experienced? We've got Break On Through to the Other Side versus Purple Haze. And you know what? I have to say, despite the fact that Purple Haze has been played to death on rock radio for over 50 years, I still love that tune. It kicks, it's innovative, it's got that pure, awesome sound. And I love Break On Through to the Other Side by the Doors. And you know what? I'm giving them both a point. Soul Kitchen versus Manic Depression. Once again, the Doors, they kick out this real soulful, bluesy, jazzy, with the organ and Morrison's poetry. It's like he's speaking about life in this song. Same thing with Jimi Hendrix with Manic Depression with the guitar, and not only Jimmy's guitar, but Mitch Mitchell's drumming and Noel Redding's bass playing. They both got to get a point. Okay, The Crystal Ship versus Hey Joe. Now, The Crystal Ship, I love it's a pure kind of jazzy, dark ballad. Love ballad. And Hey Joe being a cover of an old blues tune, but the way Jimmy plays it, I mean, he plays it with soul. It's almost like he owns it, and I love them both once again. I got to give them each a point. So far, they're tied 3 points each. 20th Century Fox versus Love or Confusion. I love them both. Again, I got to give them each a point. All right, Alabama Song versus This May Be Love. I mean, it's a cover of some old Broadway soundtrack. I forgot what it was, but it was in Ray Manzarek's collection. Keyboardist of the Doors, and Jim Morrison loved it. But, it doesn't fit. To me, it does not fit well. And I think May This Be Love is way better, so Jimi Hendrix snags a point there. Light My Fire versus I Don't Live Today. Yeah, some of you are going to be like, because here's the thing. Light My Fire is too overplayed. It's a great tune. It's annoying, but it's great. It sounds great, but what's annoying is it's too long. I saw Robbie Krieger in concert years ago, and it was the last song of the night. He did the entire career of the Doors in 3.5 hours, and the last song of the night started at 11 p.m., and it was Light My Fire, and by the time the song was over, I looked at my watch, and it was 11:35 p.m., and after that, I couldn't, I can't really... I tolerate Light My Fire when it comes on, so you know what? I Don't Live Today gets a point. Backdoor Man versus The Wind Cries Mary. I love this old Willie Dixon tune. I mean, Morrison just howls. He just howls like a tortured spirit under a full moon. Just the way he protrudes those vocals, and The Wind Cries Mary. Jimmy is really kicking out that old style, electric blues. So you know what? I have to give them both a point. All right, I Looked at You versus Fire. I mean, real fast-paced rhythm and blues boogie by the Doors against Fire. I mean, by Jimi Hendrix. I mean, that is a classic tune. The first time I heard it was in the movie Wayne's World when Cassandra's band Crucial Taunt was performing it at the Gasworks. And then I heard it. Then I would later hear it on a Pontiac commercial when they first came out with the Pontiac Sunfire automobile. And I tried to look on, I'm like, all right, who does that then? And it was Jimi Hendrix. And, I was like, oh, all right, cool. That song rocks. That song's killer, man. And I Looked at You and Fire both get a point. End of the Night versus Third Stone from the Sun. nice smoky jazz rhythm for Into the Night, End of the Night, and Third Stone from the Sun. I mean, oh man, we're talking, yeah, awesome. I have to give them both a point easily. I mean, that's one of my favorite Doors tunes right there. And another one of my favorite Doors tunes, Take It As It Comes versus Foxy Lady. I mean, again, just like I Looked at You, it's like it's a psychedelic, bluesy, smoky, jazzy anthem that really gets you by the boo boo up against Foxy Lady. Oh man, and you know what? They both get a point right there. Okay, the last two songs. The End versus Are You Experienced? Now, here's the thing, like Jimmy is more talking than anything. I mean, the only thing I can hear out of that is the guitar going like that. But the end, I mean, yeah, it's very long. I mean, over 11 minutes long. And, it's about Jim Morrison wrote a poem about a girlfriend from high school he broke up with, hence the term, This Is the End. And you know what? You know, Are You Experienced, the title track, didn't gel very well with me. So I'm giving it to the Doors. And now, the final score. We've got the Doors with 9 points and Jimi Hendrix Are You Experienced with 10. So you know what that means? Yup. And I know there's no hard feelings between Jimi Hendrix and Jim Morrison right now because you know what? We all have our opinions. I mean, some of you may say that the Doors was better than Jimi Hendrix or Jimi Hendrix was better than the Doors, but hey, to each their own, right? Well, there you have it for another great classic, album versus album, track by track. And, I want to wish you all, as always, I want to say to you, keep it real, keep it fresh, keep it chill. Listen to old school music, watch old school TV shows, watch old school movies, play old school video games, and get you enough of love, get you enough of peace, get you enough of tranquility, get you enough of anything and everything you desire. Get you enough of less chaos, no chaos, get you enough of less drama, no drama. And as always, I want to wish you Godspeed. May the force be with you always, and shuckalaka kapow.